Hello. So what I'd like to do today is to go ahead and cover my favorite method for picking up cost-effective Disney Movie Insiders points. Now, there's a lot of different methods out there that people like to use to accumulate these things to purchase, various Disney memorabilia, collectibles, posters, movies, DVD, Blu-ray, 4K UHDs. And so there's a lot of demand for these points because, people want to be able to get something back for their purchases. Not exactly cheap to buy, right? So anyways, we're talking Disney here. But anyways, there's, the freebie codes that they put out, every few weeks. And they generally have a very short shelf life and they're very low value point codes. And it takes a long time via strictly doing the freebie method to really make it, worth something that you're going to get a value. And so what ends up happening, unfortunately, is a lot of times people who try and go just strictly the freebie route, they end up missing out on a lot of great deals because they don't have enough points when the deals are running, and you have to be really quick on them, otherwise they're gone. So it's better to actually have, a decent stockpile of codes and then use the freebies just to kind of pad your account and keep things going in the meantime. And that's the best way to do it, in my opinion. So there's other methods like, some people have sites out there that they go to where they purchase the actual, copies of the codes or whatever. And I don't know. To me, there's a lot of, shady things that can happen there. And there have been some cases of people getting burned. And so I am not a fan of that method. My personal favorite method, and it's a method that's been adopted by other people, is to go hit your local pawn shops and scour the DVD shelves there for the dollar DVDs. A lot of places, they have dollar DVDs with actually a surprisingly good selection of Disney movies if you keep an eye out for the Disney logo. The other thing to keep in mind is that anything under, the Disney umbrella, Pixar, Marvel, it's going to have these rewards or Disney Movie Insiders points in them. For DVDs, they have 100-point codes in them in most cases. There are some cases where there's like some certain odd variants where they only have like a 75-point code or something. So that does happen on occasion, but the vast majority of them are 100-point codes. So what you do is you go into your local pawn shop, you just scour for the Disney DVD logo or, Marvel or whatever else is under the Disney umbrella. You pull it out the DVD, you just crack it open and just check and see if the rewards point code is there. All you have to do is open the case, take a quick look, and then close it back up, and then just add it to your stack and just go through the shelves. And I do this about once every 6 months to a year, and I just, take like a Saturday afternoon and take the kids with me. And, we kind of make a, little fun treasure hunt out of it, so I get to have some value and some fun time with the family and kids as well. So this is my preferred method, and, just to give you an example, on my last haul, I ended up picking up 1,800 points for $16 spent. And then in turn, the following week, when I was out running errands, I went to a local, used clothing, kids' clothing, games, toys, whatever, and they also have some Disney movies, and they like Disney movies. And I ended up getting, $8 back for the pile of DVDs that I had that I didn't want. So I ended up getting 1,800 points for a net of $8 spent, which most would say is generally, pretty good. And so that's just one example. And I've actually had cases where I've done much better than that. And I've ended up with some actually pretty decent titles. I've ended up, at some point having Guardians of the Galaxy. I've ended up at some point having Brave, Finding Nemo, Lion King, just, and check in with your local pawn shops because sometimes they have some really cool deals on them. Sometimes they'll offer you like best price. Some chains do that. I have one in my area that does that, where if you ask them for best price and you're buying in bulk or whatever, they'll give them to you for, I've gotten them for as little as 50 cents a piece when I do that. I've got another one in my area where if you buy 10 or more, they drop it to 75 cents a piece per DVD. So anyways, it is worth it to do this. Now, some people might ask about, whether or not the points codes have been used before. And, you know, that is a little bit of a risk, but honestly, I've had about a 90 to a 95% success rate where if I crack open the case and I look at it and there's a code in there, I pick it up and bring it home, and about 90-95% of the time, that code's still good. So that's what I do. All I do is check and see. If the code's not still in there, I put it back on the shelf and move on. And so it's just one of those things where, you know, you have to kind of learn how to work it and stuff like that. And, you know, there are certain other limitations. Like, for example, you can't go out and buy like 20 copies of Space Buddies and redeem, you know, 2,000 points worth of codes from Space Buddies. That doesn't work that way, okay? The way they say it is that it has to be one copy per format. So this is where it gets really goofy, is that if you had a copy of a DVD for a given movie and a copy of a Blu-ray for the same movie and a copy of the 4K UHD Blu-ray or 3D Blu-ray, you can redeem all these point codes because they're different format. In addition, I've also found a couple loopholes, like if there's a standard edition of the movie and there's an extended version of a given movie, and they're both DVD and it's the same movie, but one's extended and one's a standard edition, it still qualifies as two separate codes. In addition to that, for those of you who may remember the old Disney movie rewards point system, guess what? All those old codes, if they haven't been redeemed, going back to 2006, they're still good. They're still valid. I pulled some that were clearly from, you know, like 2006, which I think was when they first started doing the Disney movie rewards system. And they still work perfectly good on the Disney Movie Insiders today, you know, here in 2021 as of the filming of this video. So anyways, that's just one of those things where, you know, you have to kind of learn how to, you know, play the game and things like that. And you can make this work very well for you if you use it right. You know, I wouldn't recommend like doing this every week or something like that, because, you know, you're never going to get the selection and the large bulk order to, you know, to make it worth it for, you know, the time that you're spending out there. So I would say about every 6 months to a year, go ahead and do this. And the cool thing about this is that you can stockpile points and have them ready to go when they do run a special. Like, for example, I ended up getting the Solo, you know, from the Star Wars story, 4K UHD Blu-ray last fall for 1,000 points. Keeping in mind that I probably got, you know, about $5 spent for those 1,000 points doing the method that I just explained here. And so effectively, I got a 4K Blu-ray, you know, Star Wars Blu-ray for $5. You know, and most people would say that's pretty good. So, I mean, just those are some of the examples out there. They had another one this month that had a Blu-ray copy, a dual pack of Avengers and one of the other Marvel movies. It escapes me at the moment. And the cool thing is that when you redeem those codes and you get like movies and stuff like that, you get points back because each of those movies has a rewards points code in it. So, so in that case, it was like a dual pack Blu-ray deal for a couple of the Marvel movies that were sought after for like 400 points, and it had 300 points worth of rewards points in them. So you ended up with a net expenditure of 100 points for 2 Marvel Blu-ray movies, which most would say is an incredible deal. That's basically $1 for 2 Blu-rays. And, you know, it just a great deal. So anyways, this is the method that I use. And, you know, I would encourage you, you know, if you're, you know, looking for something different to do, you know, maybe come up with a different idea for, you know, spending time, having some fun with your kids and getting something back for it. You know, give it a shot. See what you find in your area. You can find some absolutely amazing steals, and you may even find some movies that, you know, you may get dirt cheap that you really enjoy keeping. And if you do that, even, you know, for 1 in every 10 that you buy, once again, you know, you're just adding to your value there. And that's all I've got, and thanks for watching.